Hi everyone and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to make a baby gift basket. This is a pretty teeny tiny one. It is a built thing on top of a Easter basket that I made for about a month ago. So I will link that in the description down below and at the end of the video. This little basket can be perfect for like a baby gift or something. I don't know. So I'm going to use some pattern papers. These both actually are retired. I am going to link a couple of my favorite things, pattern papers that would fit perfectly for this. I'm using the snow cone cardstock and I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/4 by 5 inches. I am using like half a sheet of cardstock, and if you do that, instead of cutting it down to 5 1/4 as I did, you cut it down to 5 inches and then turn it and cut it 5 1/4, and then you can use that ½ inch for the handle. So I'm going to use a very new piece of cardstock. Then I'm taking the pattern paper, I'm going to cut that down to 2 3/8 of an inch by 5 1/4. So on the 5 1/4 side, I will score at 1 5/8. I'm going to do the same on the other side. All of these descriptions are also on that Easter basket, but you can also find schemas over on my blog. I then score every ½ inch up to 2 inches, and I do the same thing, turning it 180 degrees and doing it the same thing, which leaves an 1 inch gap in between. I'm going to score this also on the 5 1/4 side at 1 5/8, and then turn around and do it again at 1 5/8. That leaves a 2 inch gap. So it is a 2 inch gap on one side, and it was a 1 inch gap on the other side on the cardstock. However, on the pattern paper, I just score every ½ inch up to 2 inches, so that I got 4 of those rows there. The next step is going to make small holes, and you should get this hole about 1/4 inch up from the bottom. What you want to do is you want to center it between kind of the score line, the bottom edge, and the side edge, or this other score line, depending on where you are. And you're going to do this on the pieces that measure ½ inch and not on the 3/8 of an inch pieces. I'm doing the exact same thing over on the cardstock. Here I actually got a little bit quicker, and now I'm going to speed up the clip also. But I'm just doing the same, trying to center it so it is about as long as from the bottom as it is from the both sides. And this is where I'm going to put in my little brad when I work with it. Now I'm going to also cut this 3/8 of an inch piece. I'm just going to do a tab for the middle piece, and this is how I'm going to attach the pattern paper to the cardstock. And the Easter one has glue dots and just the brad, while this will have a little bit of tape also. I'm using Sookwang Tape. It is my favorite tape that has a really good hold, and in this case you just need that because you will not have any pressure on that joint really after you have put it together. I then go in and I burnish all of the edges. Everything that I have scored is going to be burnished. So I use my bone folder and I just burnish those edges. I'm basically just putting some pressure on it. It makes those edges so much nicer. And as you see, I also do it on those 2 sides. After all of those pieces are done, I remember that I need a handle. So I took another piece of that snow cone cardstock and cut a ½ inch piece that I then cut down to 6 1/4. 6 1/4 ended up being really good size for this. I'm running that cardstock over my bone folder, or between my thumb and my bone folder, which will break up the fibers in it and make it that roundness that I want for the handle. It is the easiest way to get around handle, I promise you. well, except for ribbon. You can add ribbon also, but this has a little bit of stiffness to it. Then remove that little piece of tape that I put on the top side, and then I'm laying the cardstock on top of that. Notice that all of those score lines are on the same side. Again, I'm going over with my bone folder to burnish that. That is to make the glue stick a little bit better to the cardstock so they sit together while I work with them. The next step is to cut apart at every score line. So you cut up to the middle part that is 2 inches. So just up to that, so that every little piece here, like little fingers, cutting apart the fingers a little bit. And this is going to be the spokes in the kind of, it becomes like spokes in a wheel when we put it together with the little brad. I'm using long-nosed scissors. I'm still not sure if that is how you call it. But yeah, I'm using those to get those really straight lines when I do the cutting on my boxes. So now I'm picking out a couple of brads. I'm going to use white brads this time because I thought it would fit better, and as I have white in the pattern paper. Here I am doing the fiddly work. What you want to think about is how you add your spokes together, because that will kind of build up to give the look a very ordered look. So what I'm doing here, I am starting at the bottom and thinking like the 2 bottom spokes are supposed to go in towards each other, and then behind on front of them first I add the innermost spoke of the pattern paper, and then the 2 spokes in the middle, and then I go from the middle and upwards. And I do that because I'm just ordering them in a good order, because I want the outermost of the cardstock one is the one I want on top. Well, the handle will be on top there, but I want it on top, and then I want the outermost on the other side of the cardstock, and then I want the outermost on the pattern paper, and then I want to go that same direction with them. So the next to it on both the sides of the cardstock, and then the next to it on the pattern paper. In that order I want to put them on the brad. So I go in the opposite direction when I order them to make it easy. This is a little bit fiddly. You will see it a little bit better when I do the next layer. But if you go over to my Easter bag, you will really see how I do this. I'm gonna go through it again, so you can stay here and watch this if you want to. But the problem for me to filming this is that you have that pattern paper that kind of makes a little, makes it much smaller area that I can show. But yeah, then when I have put all of those spokes down, I just kind of open up the wings on the brad, and it will hold that together. Here I am fiddling because I remembered I need to cut off about 1/8 of an inch of this little tab. Please do that before you put it together, because that you need to put together. Do before. So now we're going to put the other side together. Here's the important part. First you push the middle part in. Then you want to build the kind of inner spokes. It is fiddly, just so you know. And then I'm going to see here, I take the innermost pattern paper, then I add the kind of in the bottom one going from the pattern paper, and then take the bottom one as far as away from the paper. Then I do the next one from the pattern paper, the next one in the 4 closer to the paper, and the next one in the 4 away from the paper. And then the 3rd one, and finally I take the 4th one from the paper, the 4th one, the closest one to the paper, and the furthest away from the paper. So it's kind of making these spokes, and I'm layering them over each other. Then it's just trying to move that order over to that brad. That is the fiddly part. And it's much, much easier to do this when you're not trying to film it. But as you see, I'm just carefully pushing over those papers that I already have in that order on top of that brad. Being careful to make sure that I still keep them in the same order. If you change the order, you won't get that gradualness from the four, so from the little quarter of the papers, both from the pattern papers and then the 2 quarters that makes together the cardstock. I hope I'm making sense. But you want to have them overlaying in that way to get it to look neat and nice. And when I have put all of them on top of the brad, I am just gonna take that brad and I'm gonna split it in 2. So find which of the little pieces of them is a little bit longer, because there's always one that is longer. Bend that down and then take the short one and bend that down. And that will hold our little basket together. And as you saw, I always put the handle on first before I try to attach all of the other pieces. To finish this off, because I don't want things falling out of the basket if I put things in it, I take these tiny glue dots. You can take a piece of tape, double-sided tape, if you want that too. These are simple to work with. I put it on top of the brad and then I just lightly push on that wider part so that it sticks towards the brad. And that also helps for anything, if you have any delicates you put in there, a little piece of lace or anything, don't have to worry for it to stick in the brad. So it's a safety net. That is also why you cut 1/8 of it, so that you don't see it over the top of the basket. I made 2 little baskets. I made a little pink one, had a little bit shorter of a handle on that one. So I really recommend the 6 1/4 handle. It's so much better. But otherwise, I kind of like it. So the pink one is in Princess Pink. And then you can use some paper, kind of tissue paper to put in it. I didn't think I had any color one, but I did have my planner arriving today from Erin Condren. So I took the little tissue paper that came with the package, which kind of fitted with the snow cone because it has a little bit of a teal one. Would probably use a white tissue paper or a very light pastel tissue paper in here to kind of get it more, but I kind of liked how that turned out anyhow. And then you can fill it with chocolates for like a baby shower gift to all that attends, or like little pieces of jewelry or something for a mother to be for a baby shower. I don't know. I kind of liked making these. I had a lot of fun. It was when I saw my little basket that I did for Easter. I'm like, I know how to make this even better. And I think it actually became even better. What do you think? Do you like my Easter basket more than this, or did you, just like me, just completely fall in love with a little baby basket? I don't know. I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you like this, please thumbs it up. If you have any questions, comment down below. Down below you find all the details and link. And if you want to see more like this, hit that subscribe button. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.